USA! USA!
Donald J. Trump, baby! Woo!
How are you, everybody?
Outstanding!
So we've been doing great. We're leading by a lot. And like record-setting stuff, that's the way we want it. We had the big day in Iowa, and we're going to have a big day in New Hampshire, I think equal to. And we just got some word that one of our opponents, very capable person, is dropping out of the race, Ron DeSantis. And Ron is dropping out, and he, in doing so, he endorsed us.
Oh, yeah! Woo! Trump!
And it's a little cold outside, but not too bad. Don't forget, in Iowa, 40 degrees below zero. This is like warm weather. It's very warm up here. It's beautiful. So what happens is very interesting because he's out as of 3 o'clock this afternoon with the endorsement. Without the endorsement, I think we would have gotten almost all of those votes because we have very similar policies: strong borders, great education, low taxes, things that very, very few regulations, as few as possible, things that she really doesn't talk about because she's a globalist. So I think most of those votes, and I guess the polls say that most of those votes, or certainly many of them, come to us. But we don't need them because the poll just came out, Suffolk just came out, Boston Globe, and they say we're very far ahead, like by many points. So and the main thing is we're going to all work together and we're going to defeat the worst president in the history of our country.
Absolutely! Woo!
The most incompetent president in the history of our country. The world is blowing up. Take a look, the Middle East and Ukraine, the whole world is blowing up. And when I left, there was peace all over the world. As Viktor Orban said, bring back Trump immediately, get him back. You know who he is, right? Prime Minister of Hungary. He said, bring back Trump. Because since then, the whole world is blowing up, and we could end up in a World War III by the time these people finish. They have no idea what they're doing. But I did want to come over and say, you know, I'm making a big speech very shortly. And a couple of your leaders, but you're the real leaders, but a couple of your leaders said, do you think you could stop? There's some volunteers that are extraordinary. Could you possibly stop? I said, sure. Is it on our way? I said, is it on our way? They said, pretty close, about a half an hour. That's a lot. You know, a half an hour in Trump time, that's a hell of a lot.
Thank you,
Thank
Trump. Thank you. Yeah! We love Trump. We love Trump. We love Trump. We love Trump. We love Trump.
I said, don't worry about it. Get that car, turn that sucker around, and let's go over and say hello to the people. These are our friends.
Yeah!
And we've been here right from the beginning, and in many cases, you know, New Hampshire has a great history with me because we came into New Hampshire really wanting and needing a win in 2016, right? Yeah. And we had that win, and that was a big win, and we won by over 20 points. And so I always have a warm spot in my heart. The governor's not exactly the best. It's Super Rhino, I would say. Yeah. Well, he actually, you know that he ran for, by the way, one of the great photographers of the world, right here, even though he works for the New York Times. That's his only thing. That's the only thing he's got going against him. No, he's a man that frankly should have changed the voting systems. Think of it. Democrats are allowed to vote in a Republican primary. It's not going to matter, but they're allowed to vote. And already they have 4,000 or 5,000 people signed up. What is that all about? And independents are allowed to vote in a Republican primary. The whole thing is crazy, like just crazy. But it's good because you know what? We win anyway. We're going to win by a lot. We were hoping maybe 35, 36 points, and we ended up getting close to 53. And it was the biggest victory, Iowa, the biggest victory in the history of the deal. And I guess it goes back, they've all, they don't even know how far it goes back, like into the early 70s. And this was the biggest victory. I think we're going to have the same kind of a thing here. I really do. It feels the same to me. We're leading by a lot, but we'll end up with records. And again, I'm not even concerned with all the Democrats that are going to vote. Remember, they're going to vote for her because they want to run against her. They are the party of disinformation and misinformation. They're slightly different. There's a very fine difference. I won't explain it to you right now. It's very boring, but it's close enough. And they will always say, oh, we want to run against Trump. But they don't want to run against me. So they ran against me in 2016. They said, we want to run against Trump. How did that work out? Not too good for them. And frankly, we did much better in 2020. And now we're going to do better than we ever did because the spirit, and now we've gotten to see how they can destroy a country. Before we didn't know that to the extent. But they've destroyed. They're destroying our country, almost destroyed. But we're going to save it.
Yes! Save America,
We have the strongest border you've ever seen. We have the best border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. Think of it. And we're going to do things that are fantastic. Another thing we're going to do, drill.
Baby drill! Yeah!
You know, in New Hampshire, the highest energy costs in the whole nation by far. I don't know what it is. It's your governor's fault. Honestly, it is. The work deals, get energy, get it. We have plenty of it. And now, and it has been that way always. It's for some reason. And you also have per capita just about the worst drug problem. And that's a shame. And I went around with your police department and your fire department over the years. And they're unbelievable, the job they do. The job they do is unbelievable. I mean, so much of it is drug related. They save people's lives to an extent that you wouldn't believe possible. And so we owe them, and I owe you because you have brought me so far. And literally, almost everybody in this room, other than the very young ones, they've been with me right from the beginning. The 2015 and 2016 So I just want to thank everybody. And if you don't mind, I got to make a speech because I'm going to be a little bit late. We have a big crowd. Did you see the crowd we had yesterday?
We were there! Yeah!
We took an arena. We broke the record. We took an arena. It was so packed. There wasn't a seat. And then outside, we're trying to get people in. The biggest they've ever had. And here's how the news reported it. At a reasonable number of people. It was like ho-hum. I remember when Bernie Sanders used to have 2,000 people to say, this crowd is unbelievable. This is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. And I'd be down the road, we'd have 25,000, 30,000 people. They wouldn't even mention it. I said, this is something wrong. That was at the beginning. I said, this is something wrong with this fake news stuff. So we developed the name Fake News, and it seems to have stuck. Because right now the media is rated lower than Congress. That was something nobody thought could happen, right, my friend? So thank you all very much. Big day. We have a big day. I'll be back tomorrow. I go in for a Biden trial. I call them the Biden trials. They're all Biden. They've weaponized government. So I'm going to make my speech, and I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to spend time in the morning in New York. Then I'm coming back here. And people say, how the hell do you do it? But that's what they want to do. They want to exhaust you, both from a dollar standpoint and physically, but we don't get it. Do we get exhausted? No. What they've done is they've weaponized the Department of Justice at a level. I have 7 lawsuits. Every single one of them is related to the Department of Justice. Take a look at Fani. It's not Fanny. It's supposed to be Fanny, F-A-N-I. There's no U. Think of it. So Fani, and she pays her boyfriend like close to $1 million out of the coffers of Georgia. You ever see anything like this one? But here's the thing. They spent much time at the White House figuring out how to indict the former president of the United States, 45th president, who just recently got 70, think of it, who just recently got 75 million votes, the most in history for a sitting president. So there's one you'd say, oh, that's not involved. But they're all involved, including civil ones, and including the AGs and the DAs, all Democrats, all Democrat judges. Now think of the timing. We have our vote the day after tomorrow, and I go to court tomorrow. This is all planned. And they want to rush it, but I said, why didn't you bring the case 3 years ago? because they had no case. This is all bad stuff. And the truth is, I don't believe I'd be up. I mean, we're up numbers that nobody's ever been up. I really believe that they have so overplayed their hand that it actually helped us from this standpoint. It's a very bad precedent, however. It's a country killer. What they're doing is a country killer. And Joe Biden, who maybe doesn't even know what's happening, because he's surrounded by communists, fascists, young, smart, vicious. He's got a woman running the Department of Justice, Lisa Monaco. I think she's really running it. She's friends with a guy named Andrew Weissman, who's been for years failing against me. For years. I've been fighting these people off for years. These are bad people that hate our country. So I'm going to go make a speech, and I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. And we are going to have some fun, and we are going to have the biggest victory we've ever had. I just want to thank everybody. Look, we have some really young ones are starting, but I want to thank you, and I'm praying for you too. We're all praying because you know what? We're close to World War III. These incompetent fools will start World War III. And you know, 10 months sounds like a short period of time. They can do damage. Look what they've done to our country at the border. Look what millions of people are flowing into our country from prisons, from jails, from mental institutions. I love you all. Thank you very much.
We love you. We love you.
USA! 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 USA!
It's retired. Okay. He just said, will I be using the name Ron DeSanctimonious? I said, that name is officially retired.
Woo! Let's go, Trump!
Thank you for taking the wall.
My voice is gone.